When you prepare for a game not knowing who the opponent is going to be, like today, and since you won't know until tomorrow night, how do you approach it differently, or do you approach it differently?
Yeah, maybe slightly differently. There's not a bundle of things that we will change. However, as you said, not knowing who it's going to be, it's difficult to start to replicate maybe their shape, areas of the field that we can start to exploit. But what we can do is continue to reinforce some of the areas of our game that could be important come Saturday evening. So today we've looked at reinforcing some of the creative moments or combinations in the final third, and a little look at the pressure that is going to be important in the middle third of the field to stay positive and to stay aggressive in an important game.
You guys have managed to roll with a mostly unchanged lineup for the past 3 or 4 games. Has that helped you to build chemistry that you think will be beneficial in the playoffs?
Of course. I mean, you want to try and keep some continuity where possible. We're fortunate we get a week's rest to prepare for Saturday's game. I do honestly think that the guys have understood and are ready for me to make choices on who the right players are to get the job done. It may be the same team. I won't know until Wednesday when the games are played, but there's certainly been some teams that we've played where there are individuals that have been effective, that were confident maybe in any particular game that we might run into with the 3 possible outcomes. Mm-hmm. So we'll wait and see. There could be some changes. Mm-hmm. If we stay with the same group, I've been very pleased with that. They've moved forward well. They're on a good run. Even within that group, you've seen 1 or 2 rotations there. So, yeah, whatever group we put out, the guys will be ready. They're raring to go, as you might imagine.
Sorry. I imagine you feel pretty good about how you guys are playing. I mean, you won a lot of games down the stretch here, and you always want to be playing your best heading into the postseason.
Of course. We've got some good momentum. There's some players in the group. In fact, most of them are in good form. They'll, I'm sure, be double confident in the way that they've defended. I think it's 1 goal in the last 6 games, so that's a nice stat for the defenders, and certainly that core group to be taken into the final stretch. And of course, we've been able to find our way through to some goals at the other end, so there's a nice edge to the group. All in all, well, I think we're in a good spot.
What have you told your team about this being the first home playoff game? Have you spoken to them about what it means to be at home and to establish home field advantage?
The nice thing for us is we finished the season off with 3 home fixtures. I know one of them was at Nissan, but when you get into a little bit of a flow and a rhythm, things become regular. There's a routine that's attached to it. So Saturday's game at 7 o'clock at First Tennessee Park is something that they're in a groove with. So that's good news for us. Some of the sides, whether they're travelling or have been travelling last games for Pittsburgh, of course it's familiar, but the last 2 games have been away from home. So, there is a little bit of settling in when you get into a game and you've not been at home for a little while. I'm delighted that we can play a home playoff game in front of our fans. They deserve that. They've been great all season. I would hope for a big crowd that can get behind the team and create a bit of an atmosphere. It's something that's not happened for the organisation before. So we intend to enjoy it, but we intend to be double competitive. And we'd like to think that there's just more than this 1 game available to us.
What does it mean for the trajectory of the franchise just the last couple of years? It's just progressed, and that's the arc that you obviously want when you took over.
If we could have drawn a graph, certainly from the technical side, as to where the team might be moving, I'm not sure I could have drawn it much better. If you look at some of the stats that you always want to keep improving on, they've moved that way this year. Balance was a key element to what I'd always felt was important for the team, and I think we found that line pretty well for most of the season. And if you look at where we're moving and what these players have achieved and the position they've put themselves in, how they've fared all year, I think they've done a great job. And it would be nice now to cap that off with a good post-season. When all said and done, we're going to be judged probably on how we do in the playoffs. But I think what we can say is, over the course of 34 games, these guys have performed very consistently. They've produced some very good performances. And in terms of games won this year, I think we topped the Eastern Conference, which is a lovely place to be given how competitive the Eastern Conference is.
You've been a part of a lot of games in your career. How much fun is it still for you?
It's the most exciting time. There's nothing that replicates it. Yes, it's been great to be in that final game looking towards an Eastern Conference regular season title, but there's nothing quite like the playoffs. It's a very, very different mindset. I think we've got a group of players here with a lot of experience, a very confident group, as we've already said, but I think that experience will serve us well as we move towards Saturday's game. Wednesday will give us our opponent, which will give us that little bit of extra edge towards Thursday and Friday's training session. But all in all, I think for the organisation, players and fans alike, it's a lovely place to be.
You talked about endlessly since Saturday now today about being talking to the players progressively, about being more clinical in the attacking third. You've been helped out with obviously Jimmy scoring against Louisville and then Forrest last Saturday. How important, or what is the importance for you to see that final third really make the W happen next Saturday?
Of course. Look, if you look at the weekend's game, and you can only perform against a team that's put in front of you. With 3-0 up at half time, the question that I posed the group was, make this a playoff game, as you have done the last two. Be ready for what comes next, because we knew we were in. And that will serve us well when we do finally run into the challenge of our first home playoff game. They'd won the game in 45 minutes. I couldn't have asked for any more. A new challenge presented itself on Saturday. Some teams are able to overcome that hurdle, which is to push on then and win 5, 6, 7. But that's a very different mentality to winning a game, seeing a game out with a clean sheet, and feeling good about yourselves. To your point about final third, sharpness and just being clinical in and around that penalty area, you've also got to look at set plays. We've scored 20 goals from set pieces this year. I think we're as efficient, if not more efficient, than any team in the Eastern Conference or elsewhere. Goals are scored from every area of the field. And if you can be a threat as we are from set pieces, it gives you an opportunity to put yourself in a very good position. So it's not just what we achieve in open play, it's what we achieve full stop. And make no mistake, if we win on Saturday and we score 2 or 3 goals from set pieces, I'll be just as happy.
You talked early in the year about maybe swinging too far balance-wise towards the offense and kind of finding that right spot in that, that spectrum over the course of the year. Do you feel like you found the right spot for playoff play?
I do. We had a period of time, if I think back, we lost to Louisville and to Carolina in a back-to-back defeats that had happened only once. I think this year we'd also conceded goals at Hartford and at home to Ottawa in that spell. They were the most goals that we've conceded all year. However, we were scoring goals and did against Ottawa and Hartford. The concern was always if we weren't going to be at our very best going forward. We certainly weren't at our very best when we were defending. So there needed to be a little bit of a readjustment. That readjustment came in 2 players that I feel have affected the team enormously. I think they've given us more confidence, but it also coincided with Kenny Tribber getting fit as well. So you can look at the balance being players or just the formation and maybe the style of play that we've had. All in all, I think we found the right groove at the right time and with the right bodies. I think the players that are outside looking in at this point and have been for a little while are still very much engaged because the team's doing well. And those players, if called upon, are ready. And we've had a tight group all year. I wanted a tight group for a reason. It it maintains a competitive edge about training day on day, and it also gives every player an opportunity to be available and be part of that 18-man group or the starting 11. So that's worked. I feel as though we've had and overcome some real difficulties. Derek's injury, Michael's injury, Cameron's been in and out for the season and never really found fluency that we maybe have been after. Kenny's had a couple of spells out. So I think we've overcome some tough periods. We've certainly settled into a nice rhythm, and it's, as you've said, come at a very nice time.
What does it mean for this franchise to host its first playoff game?
It's going to be amazing. I mean, it feels great. Nothing like playing in front of our home crowd or in front of our supporters. They give us the energy for the full 90, so it really helps us. And I mean, it showed in the previous games. I mean, we score well at home, and I think they play a big part in that.
Yeah, it just seems to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, it just adds some like legitimacy to what you guys are doing here when this team's not only good, but it's hosting postseason games.
Yeah, I mean, coming in the top two is huge for us. So, I mean, we'll see what Pittsburgh does, and I mean, if they end up losing and we host all playoffs, I think we can make a fantastic run at it. I mean, even if we do have to play away, I think trusting everybody, our whole team, our staff, to get the job done.
So tomorrow night, you guys getting together to watch games to see what happens, or how's that work?
I think we'll try to get together for sure. I mean, to see who we match up against, but yeah, no matter who it is, I think we're ready.
When you arrived in July from San Jose, were you thinking, okay, I evaluate this team as I come in from the outside and see the opportunity to kind of achieve the things that you guys have already achieved and hope to achieve going forward?
Yeah, I mean, coming in here, I was really excited to get some games in for sure, and knowing it's a top team in the USL and how it's going to be in MLS next year. So it's a great opportunity for myself and for my other teammates to hopefully mix in well with them and get the job done, you know.
We've kind of seen it down the stretch. What's it like as a member of the team when you can feel that you guys are playing well and trending in the right direction heading into the postseason?
It feels great. I mean, the momentum keeps going. We've built a strong chemistry together. I mean, we're all very comfortable around each other, good trainings every day, and yeah, I mean, I think we're molded very well together.
Is momentum a real thing?
Absolutely. Yeah, coming off 3-0 win right now, scoring goals. I think we can roll it over into Saturday, and we'll be fine.